Okay, don't mind me, guys. I'm just, I got a new little toy here that is supposed to track my movement, so I'm just trying to figure it out still. Okay. I'm going to be making a whole bunch of hand gestures, so don't mind me, but I'm going to see if I can get this thing to track me. There we go. Oh, look at that. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah. I'm with One of a Second Kind Designs, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about preparing my furniture for shipping. I'm going to actually do kind of two lives here this evening. The first one on just kind of, it's not really very interesting to watch, but just wrapping my furniture and what I kind of do to prepare it. And then I'm going to try to do a live sharing my computer screen and show you how I use a hub. It's called USHIP, just how I list a piece of furniture on there and find shippers. So as you hop on, say hi, tell me where you're tuning in from. I'm seeing 70 pop on, but I'm not seeing comments. Like I just said, I got this new toy. Look at this. It's tracking me. Which is awesome, except for right now, it just tracks my face, which is fine until I need to show you something and you don't need to see my face. Then I'll see if I can turn that feature off. I think if I hold my hands up, I can stop the tracking, but right now it's tracking me and you get to see my very messy garage. This is where all the magic happens, the staging, the prepping, the painting. So this thing is pretty cool. It's called a gimbal, and Rosie from Brush Restorations did a live yesterday, and she was showing hers off, and so it's pretty cool. I don't know what I'm doing. I just plugged it onto my tripod thing, and it's pretty cool. See, it stopped tracking because I'm a hand person. I talk with my hands. So apparently if I go like this, it tracks me again. Okay. Anyway, I'm kind of obsessed with playing with it. So here's this piece of furniture back here, which you can't see unless I go like this. Okay, here's this piece of furniture that we're gonna be wrapping up. So it's been in my garage since I paint. Well, it's been in my garage ever since I brought it home because it was too massive to bring inside to paint. And I just cleaned the drawers out. So I vacuumed all the drawers again, which I do when I'm also, painting the furniture, but they always collect dust. It's in my messy garage. So clean the drawers out, just vacuum them. I wiped off the faux marble top with some mild dish soap and a soft cloth. And then I did condition the drawer inside. So inside here is just wood. So I just used Lysol salve to condition the drawers. And then what I do is I like to include a few things. So I already have it here in this bag, but I'll just tell you, I always give like a little gift of some sort. So I have a little pen and notepad here. I have care instructions, which you can have these, typed up and printed out. I just print my own. You can get on, Canva and make your own and then, send it to a company to then make them for you. But I just make my own on my computer, little care instructions. These are actually posted on my website as well. This is something to, if you're a furniture painter, definitely include these. I also tell my clients it's on my website. So if you lose this, you can refer to my website, but it has the date of completion, which I think is something that's really important because, it takes, everything has a cure time. Paint, top coats have cure times. I always say 30 days to be safe. And so I have a date of completion, and on there it states your newly finished painted piecing is about 30 days to harden and cure. Please treat it with care and avoid excessive handling during this time. Date of completion was December 18th. So I'm almost to that 30-day mark. Now, I don't like to ship out my furniture until it's cured. It's always kind of been a rule for me. And to be honest, I didn't think this piece would ship out this quickly because it's going to Colorado. But I have a shipper coming either tonight or tomorrow. So I'm not super concerned because I am very close to that that 30-day window anyway. And this isn't the type of piece that I'm too concerned about it getting like scuffed up. It has that kind of rough finish anyway, so I don't really get too concerned about a little scratch or a nick or something. Yes, baby. Ask Daddy, okay? Sorry. So anyway, care instructions. I include that as well as some business cards and then touch-up paint. So that's all in this little bag. I labeled the bottles with what the paint color is, and some of my business cards. And that way the client has like everything they really need if they run into an issue. And then this client, I'm also gonna send her, this is one of my more expensive pieces of furniture. I sold it for over $3,000. So I feel I should give a really nice gift or something that's, usually I'll like include a coaster, something small. Like I said, this pen and pad, something that's small. But I did make her a brick mold box. So I'm gonna send that as well with this piece of furniture. And I'm sorry, I have children that might keep popping out here. Okay, so wrapping. Again, this part's kind of boring, but I promise I'll hop on. After I go off this video, I'll hop on and try to do a screen share of my computer showing you how to use USHIP. So usually I have my husband out here, which I may holler for him, and I think I may turn off this tracking. Let's see. I think, okay. I'm actually getting good at it. I'm gonna just tilt this down so you can see. Not that, I don't know that you really need to see it. So I kind of, oh, it's floating. It's floating on me. Oh, maybe I should have the tracker back on. All right, hold on, guys. I don't know that I know what I'm doing. Camera is just like floating away. So I prefer to wrap my furniture myself. When you get on USHIP, pretty much every shipper that I have worked with has an option on their little bio that says that they'll blanket wrap. And they all do. They all come with blankets and they're ready to wrap it up. However, I'm a little OCD and I like to just triple ensure that I don't even want them carrying out of my garage without a blanket around it. So, because I've seen some that like carry it to their truck and then throw a blanket over it. And I'm like, no, not gonna happen. So I take a lot of steps, and it does cost quite a bit of money in packing materials, but I think it's important. So I have just this foam I'm gonna place over the top, bubble wrap, and a blanket. I do all of that, bubble wrap and a blanket. In fact, this piece may need 2 blankets. And I have great shippers. In fact, a lot of them, they see I've blanket wrapped it and then they leave me with blankets because they're just gonna take them off the piece and keep them anyway. So they give me the blankets back essentially. So blankets I get on like Amazon. They're, I don't know, $15 a piece usually depending on the thickness of the blanket. And then this stuff can get kind of pricey here. Okay. Thank you. So I'm gonna put that over the top, but I shut the door. And like I said, I may hold out for my husband because it's just easier to have him secure things. And then this big roll of wrap. I'll just wrap the piece, okay? After I get all the stuff on it. So I'm trying to think, this particular piece I want to, sorry, I just had a moment here where I'm gonna include that brick mold box, but I think I wanna put it in the drawer. And the reason I say that is because when I shipped a piece, I don't know what it was, but anyway, I had the touch-up paint and I had actually given it to the shipper. I didn't like put it in a drawer because I was afraid of it leaking. And sure enough, they forgot to give it to her. So they left and I messaged them and asked how it went, and she got the touch-up paint and they're like, oh, you forgot. So I made them ship it to her. So I kind of, going forward, I'm just like, I need to somehow just attach it to the furniture or put it in a drawer because I don't want them forgetting stuff. So something like this, they would probably forget it in their truck. So I am just gonna wrap it up real quick with some bubble wrap and throw it in a drawer so I don't have to worry that the shipper will forget it or charge me extra, if that's possible. Let me grab. So I should have done this prior to going live on the video, so I apologize. This is not really something fun to watch, but and I'm just gonna wrap it because I just don't want it like lying around in the drawer, I guess. So yeah, and damaging the wood or whatever. So okay. Let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and try to see how much bubble wrap here. This piece is quite big. Grab some tape. I don't have the back of my pieces. I don't ever paint the back of the pieces, at least very rarely. So I'm gonna start back there. Put a piece of tape back there, which you may not see me. I might point this camera down a little bit more. I know you guys can't really see that well. Okay. Did you come to help? Are you sure?
100% sure.
Well, I need to help when I do the.
Are you still on film?
Yeah.
Well, then, no.
So apparently my husband doesn't want to be on film, so he's not going to help me.
Taking the kids to the park.
Oh, I might, but I need your help.
Huh?
That's fine. That's fine. Have fun. It's just easier with two people to do this, obviously. So, a couple other pointers. I'm trying to just think of all the pieces I've shipped out. A couple other things to think about with your furniture is the structure of your furniture. Like, for instance, legs. Okay, the legs on your furniture. I have had some pieces. You guys can hear me from all the way back here. I've had some pieces, like there was a cedar chest, and I had added little cylinder-looking legs to it. Okay. I could have left them on. In fact, I may have left them on. I'm not sure. I can't even remember now. But my point is sometimes you may want to remove those things. Because you don't want, if the shipper puts them on those little dainty feet, you can remember this stuff is going in trailers, trucks, and my dad used to work with freight companies. I hear horror stories. I mean, it is rough in those trucks when stuff is bumping around. It's rough. So spindly, tall, skinny legs, or just legs in general, you don't want them getting all wobbly and loose and breaking. So I tell my shippers, like, oh, it's tracking me again. I tell my shippers, I'll put a big piece of paper and I'll write this side up with an arrow. And that way they know if I want it to possibly be on its top. Like in that case, you know, I didn't want the legs to get damaged, so it could be transported on its top. Just, you know, don't set it on its legs inside the truck. Or remove the legs. I have removed legs, wrapped them up, stuck them inside the piece, and I would tell them, you know, or ask them could they assemble it when they got there. Or, you know, tell your client there is some assembly that can be required. Same with hardware. There's glass, crystal, whatever hardware you don't want potentially broken, I would remove it. You just have to think of all the possible things that could go wrong. And so I just, again, I put myself in their shoes and how I know how men are transporting things. They're not always very careful. And I know that those trucks they can just get really bouncy. Imagine if they got hit, they got rear-ended, you know, whatever. So really securing those items. Glass is another one. Like the first piece I ever shipped was a huge hutch, and I was just a nervous wreck because I had installed a light inside the hutch. I had glass. Thank God the shipper was amazing and they were really careful. But and that's a whole nother thing I'll talk about with shippers here shortly. Okay, so let's get this kind of finished up. I'll probably kind of individually wrap these legs. In fact, I don't really know if you guys want me to finish wrapping this on camera because it's, I know, a little bit boring. Let's throw a blanket over it. like it's not even long enough. So I'm going to use 2. Just making sure, and then I'll, like I said, I'll individually kind of wrap the legs with saran wrap, or whatever that's called, saran wrap. I'm just making sure, like when I fold these sides in, that it's covering up the entire piece. And it looks like it is. Okay. So I gotta find another blanket here. So this sold on Etsy. And I'll also print out the, like, I think what they call packing slip. And I'll also stick it behind this, the clear wrap so that the shipper can see it. It'll state the buyer's address, her phone number, his or her phone number will be on there, all that stuff. So, and I place that within the clear packing, like on the front of the piece. So everything is through text messages, but you know, just in case. Again, a lot of these guys are shipping a lot of different pieces, so that's why I put like signs all over my piece, so they make sure to see, you know, it actually even has a picture of the piece on the packing slip. So, and that's on Etsy, and my website has that option as well, so I print that out. Okay, so this is normally when I would need my husband's help, but he took the kids to the park, so this is where it gets a little, I'm gonna look hilarious doing this, I'm sure. That's when this stuff comes in handy. And of course it sticks to itself, but the first, like, go around, in fact, I might go see if he's still here. It's just like the first go around is when you need someone's help, usually. My dad, like I said, he works for a freight company, and he brought me like tons of these rolls and like old sheets and just all kinds of packing materials that I'm still using, so I love it. This stuff is expensive. I'm gonna try to throw a piece of tape. I don't know how else to do this without having help. I want to fold in my sides here. I don't think tape's gonna hold this, but hopefully it holds it for a few minutes until I get around the piece. Ooh, probably not. Fold this way. Let's see how that goes. Here, let me grab that tape again. I don't know how many of you are still on. I know this is not a lot of fun, but I just want to show you kind of what I do to get furniture ready. All right, I don't know how well this is going to work because this is very tightly on here. And it's probably going to let go before I get around. I'm just trying to quickly get back to that other spot. Here, let it grab it. Oh, I did it. So I don't need my husband's help after all. Okay. All right, so there we have it. All right, ain't pretty, but it's on there. I needed to go across this top, but I usually will go, like on smaller pieces, I'll go under it. I'm like out of breath. I'm dying. Hi, Denise. Ah, guys, I'm so out of shape. Okay, so the legs, the little tiny legs in the front, they're actually pretty well protected, but I might even take like a little bit of this and just kind of cut it up and just kind of wrap it. I know, I'm sorry, Stacy, the camera, here, there, hold on, let me move it down. Sorry. The little tracker thing is great, except for it wants to track my face. So there it is. If you can see that, all I did was just go around it. It's not rocket science, it's pretty easy, but I just wanted you to know, if I had the little track of the sheet of paper, where'd it go? I would show you what I mean. But like something like this, I usually would just stick down in here. Just kind of stick it back in here so it's within the clear wrap and they can see it. As well as, yes, thank you, Stacey. I'm sorry. I should have kept the tracker on. Here, let me see if I can put the tracker back on. I just look ridiculous doing that, don't I? Hold on. I don't want to mess with this thing because I'm afraid I'm going to like break it. No. Well, okay, it's not tracking. So I was playing with this thing today. It just looked ridiculous. I was like, oh, do this hand gesture and this hand gesture. It was just ridiculous. Okay, still not tracking. Dang it. Where's Rosie when I need her? No. Anyway. Okay, so I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to touch base on about shipping. Is there any questions so far? Like I said, I was going to hop off of here. I'll grab my computer and I haven't done this before, but if you guys are willing to work with me, I'm going to try to do like a screen share and talk you through the USHIP portal. If you're interested, I can do that. So I'm not sure what else to really talk about as far as this goes. The shipper, like I said, will be here either tonight or in the morning. In fact, I need to hop off and text him and see what's going on. They just come right to the house, they load it, they leave with it. I don't have to do anything else except for let the client know. And then usually I text the client the day before, just touch base with them, and let them know, when the shipper's going to be there. Once we did last one, do you wrap like, yes. So this one, they're pretty well like protected by the blanket, and you can't see it. Let me look at the back actually. Yeah, I will just take either this. I've even like taken thick washcloths. Just buy like a pack of washcloths, kind of wrap it around the leg, and then you can get these in like a much smaller, like little tiny handheld one, and just wrap the cloth in the leg so that it stays on. I've done that. Just get creative, I guess. Trying to protect the legs. They usually get the brunt of it, right? The edges and the legs. How much does it cost for a piece that size? And how do you estimate the weight? Okay, great questions. Thank you for asking, because I sometimes go live and I don't remember everything I want to say. So what's funny is it ranges like crazy. I shipped a small cedar chest that weighed like nothing to California, and that cost me over $500, which was kind of a loss because I didn't sell it for that much. So that was kind of a bummer. But this piece, which I hate to even tell you how much it is because I'm shocked, $250, and it's going to Colorado, and it weighs probably 225, 250, something like that, 250 pounds. And I'm guessing you can Google, which I have done this, just Googled like estimated weight of furniture, okay? And it'll tell you like large dresser, chest of drawers, bed, and then those are just estimates. I am pretty good. I've lifted a lot of furniture. I know what I can lift and I can't lift. So I'm pretty good at guessing. And I tell the shippers that. I don't think they expect you to be like on the dot with it. So I will just say like, I think it's 200 pounds, but I will tell you it feels pretty heavy. It's gonna need 2 men to lift it. So this thing is flipping heavy, okay? And it's like 6 feet long, so it's big. But I got quotes all over the place. I had quotes at $1,500 for this piece. I had quotes at $300, $500, $800. I used to think like the higher the quote, oh, that must be a really good shipper, right? They must be like really good. And then I don't know how that all works, but I have been fortunate that I work with a few different shippers on a monthly basis. I've established relationships with them, and I kind of know which ones are more careful than others. I also know who's probably going to quote me a little bit more or less. Some of them just don't go to certain areas too. So a lot of people hate going to California. The gas prices, I think, are crazy. And a lot of people don't like going to the East Coast, to New York. And then, of course, you deal with the winter times, like right now. That's probably why I got a quote for $1,500, because going to Colorado and they figure there's possible snow and whatever. But then, I got this quote for $250. Now, I've never used this guy. I don't know if he's good. I went ahead and booked it. I read his reviews. So and again, we're going to talk about this when we get on USHIP. When a guy or when a shipper reaches out to you and says, hey, here's a quote, I can have it there on whatever date. You can click on their little profile and you can read all their reviews. So I'm super good about doing that. You want to read and see why, if it's a bad review, why? Did they just cancel because their car broke down? That kind of stuff I understand. Or did they just no show on the person and never contact them? I don't like those reviews. So again, knock on wood, had good experiences, but I've also said no to quotes. Like I said no to one on this piece he quoted me $300 and he was all like, I can come get it now. And I'm like, and I read reviews and I got that feeling. I usually trust my gut. And I was like, I'm going to hold out. So then I got this quote from this guy, $250, which I was like, oh, that's crazy low. But his reviews were good. He was pretty communicative. Like he emailed me right after I asked him a couple of questions. He answered right away. Seemed polite, knowledgeable. And then I said, okay, I'm going to book it. And then he emailed me. He's like, I'll call you, shortly to confirm. And so, but then he never called. So then I did call him and he's like, oh yeah, I think I'll be there probably, Thursday or Friday. I was like, okay. So, but here we are Thursday. I haven't heard from him. So I'm starting to get a little bit of red flags. Like, okay, again, these guys are on the road. So I get it. They're on the road. They're just, no offense if there's men on here, but they're not the best at communication. I've had female shippers. In fact, I just had one that took a piece to Virginia for me. Amazing. 2 women doing it. They were awesome. Okay. But I've had men that are great too. I'm just saying that sometimes the communication, I'm like, have to stay on top of them a lot more. And I get a little nervous when I don't hear from them. But, this guy hasn't called me yet to confirm if he's coming tonight or not. So we'll see. So I'm just kind of being really transparent here. Like, it may not work out. And I will let you guys know this guy may not work out. So that's fine. He'll get a poor review from me. I'll throw the piece back up on USHIP and see. My trusted shippers just are not going to Colorado right now. And if they are going to Colorado, they're not going for another month or two. And I was like, oh, I really want this piece out of here. However, if I need to wait, that is what we'll have to do. Does USHIP have insurance and do you pay the shipping fee or does the buyer? USHIP does have insurance. I want to talk about that, but that's going to be on the next video. And then, do you pay the shipping fee or does the buyer? Okay, so another great question. I include the shipping in the list fee. So on Etsy and on my website, I used to not. I used to just say, here's how much it is, message me for a quote on shipping. And then I get a ton of messages and I would be like constantly on my computer trying to get an estimate, especially when I'd be out and about and I wouldn't be near a computer where I could hop on USHIP and get an estimate. It was just killing me because I had so many messages and I would get extremely hopeful that someone was going to buy a piece and then I would quote them like whatever, $400 for the shipping and they would back out. Or I had a couple of instances where a person bought the piece and they obviously didn't read. I felt like I posted it everywhere, all over my website and Etsy, like, you have to message me for a shipping rate before you purchase it. And people would buy the piece and then I'd reach out and I'd say, okay, shipping is, this much money. And they're like, well, I'm not paying for shipping. I want to be refunded. So it was like, it cost me money to refund them too. So it was just becoming like, okay, I'm just going to throw the shipping cost into my list price. So what I've been doing is I figure out what I want for the piece, okay? Like my time, my materials, I figure out what I want to take away from the piece. I then have to add a percentage depending on where I'm listing it, because Etsy charges a transaction fee. My website charges a transaction fee. Etsy also charges advertising fees. And then there is packing materials and there is shipping. So I just throw kind of a number out there. I usually just go way above it and hope for the best. Like I figure, okay, I'll just price it really high. If it doesn't sell in a month or two, I can slowly creep the price down. I listed this at, I think, I don't remember exactly, 3,100, expecting shipping to cost me like 800 to 1,000. Seriously, that's what I thought, because I thought someone in California buys this, I guarantee it'll cost me $1,000. So I went to my high end. Like if I knew if someone in California or New York bought this piece, it was probably gonna cost me $1,000. Then somebody in Colorado bought it and it was only 200. So in my mind, I guess, I don't know if some of you would think that's dishonest, but it's just, unfortunately, that's just how the cookie crumbles. I guess I got lucky that it was someone in Colorado, which is only 10 hours from me, not 20 hours. It's a pretty easy drive. They're like right outside of Denver. So shipping's just going to cost me less. So that, to me, that's just icing on the cake, I guess. But you do have to factor like how much time I'm taking to like talk to shippers and get on USHIP, and I'm doing a lot of back and forth. And then again, packing materials, that's probably, you want to factor anywhere between, depending on your piece of furniture, $30 to $50 in packing materials. And then of course your transaction fees and all of that. In my mind, I really wanted to walk away with about $2,000 out of this piece. So I'm coming out, a little bit ahead, of course, because the shipping was less. So I hope that answers your question about that. And another thing about it is customers, and I'm the same way, don't like to see that shipping cost. Like, haven't you ever bought something and you put it in your cart and then you get in, it's like a $20 item and then you get to the cart or whatever and you're buying it and it's like $18 in shipping. I'm like, what? That's so expensive. Like, man, never mind. However, if I see something, I'm like, oh, it's only $35. It's free shipping. You're pretty much paying the same amount of money. I just hate spending my money on the shipping part, I guess. I hate seeing that my money is going towards the shipping. So if the client doesn't see it, they don't see that shipping charge, it's just an easier pill to swallow, I guess. They think they're getting a deal, and it just takes the guesswork. It takes all that, like, people messaging me and then asking for shipping quotes and then backing out because they've had too much time to think about it. I was always taught, like, you've got to like lock people in. Like if they see that picture, okay, they usually want it that moment. And if they wanted it, they're going to buy it that moment. But if they have too much time to think about it and have to message you, and they may back out of the sale. So I try to just, here's all the upfront fee, the upfront cost, flat rate, here it is. And people are more willing to buy. I've been super lucky in the last 6 to 8 months on Etsy, just doing it that way, putting free shipping. And again, I haven't had issues selling at super high dollar prices because I would never get $3,000 out of this piece selling it here in Texas. Maybe I would, but it's unlikely. So I've just been very lucky that Etsy's bringing me those bigger, those high dollar prices for me. Yes, exactly. So that's the other thing. Like sometimes you are going to take a loss. Sometimes the shipping, like on that little cedar chest, I was like, oh, $500. Like I thought $300. So when I listed it, and I don't remember what I sold it for. I think I sold it for like $550, expecting it wasn't going to cost me. No, I think I sold it for more than that. I was trying to remember. I don't remember, guys. Anyway, I only ended up making like $100 off that cedar chest. And it wasn't like the cedar chest was like that difficult. It just, it just took me 6-7 hours to actually finish the piece. So sometimes you are going to take a loss. So price higher. That's all I can say. Just price higher. And if it's sitting, then, you can always slowly come down on your prices. Okay. Any other questions? Before I hop off, I'm gonna go grab my computer, and then we'll go ahead and try to do this USHIP, like I share my screen, so you can just see my computer screen and walk you through how I go listing a piece of furniture. So if there's not any other questions right now, like I said, I'm gonna hop off of here and try to figure out how to do that screen share. Yeah, I'm not seeing any other questions. So if you guys bear with me, it might take me like 10-15 minutes to try to figure out how to do the screen share. Okay. I feel like I was missing something that I was going to tell you also about. Oh, the other thing I want to mention too is when a client buys a piece of furniture from you, I always message them right away and I thank them, let them know that I'm going to reach out to shippers and, get back with them on a date. But I also reiterate to them that it's first floor drop off only and that someone has to be home to accept the delivery. You would be surprised at how many people, and I've had this happen, are not home. And they are really bad at just communicating with me, and I've had a shipper show up to a house and no one was home, and he just left the piece of furniture on their front porch, took a picture and sent it to me, and he apologized. But I didn't even know what to tell him. I was like, well, I don't want it to come back to me. So that does happen. So just really communicating with your client and letting them know, someone needs to be home. I'm going to be calling or texting you to confirm the delivery was dropped off and that you're happy, because I don't send payment to the shipper until it's dropped off. So, and that it's confirmed dropped off by the client, not just a text message from the shipper. I want a picture and I want to hear from the client saying, it's here, it was great, it was bad, whatever. And then you release payment. So we'll talk about that too. But it's things like that. People don't think about that. They don't think about how high their ceilings are. So make sure your clients are double checking their measurements of, I have a 8 foot tall piece right now that if I had to ship it, I'm going to make sure I tell people this thing's tall. Measure your ceilings, measure your space again, and first floor drop off only. You can't expect your shippers to go up a flight of stairs. So if it has to go up a flight of stairs, then your client needs to arrange for help. So that's another thing. Another thing to think about too with your shippers is, what do they ship? I only use shippers that are shipping furniture or household items. I don't, I've had people send me quotes for furniture and I look at their reviews or what they ship, and they're shipping engines and cars and just things that are mechanical. I don't want my furniture in a trailer with a truck engine, okay, or car parts. I mean, just stuff that also is super heavy that might fall on my furniture or just have a smell. I know that sounds weird, but just that's all stuff to think about. People don't think about that, but you don't want your shipper showing up to your house and they open up their trailer and you see just, I don't know, grime and gross and dirt and just stuff that you're I don't want my furniture in there. And then where you live, are you in an area where it's remote and they may have trouble getting into your driveway? You need to tell your shipper all of that, and your client needs to be forthcoming with you as well. Is it street only? If my shipper gets there and you live in an area downtown where maybe you don't have a driveway per se, that's all stuff to think about. So your shipper knows, because sometimes they charge you more if they're I gotta park on the street and carry this thing, 50 feet up to their doorway. So again, I'm a little bit over the top with it, but I think it's just important that the more information, the better for me. That's just my rule of thumb. So anyway, okay, I'm gonna hop off here and get my computer, and we'll try to go live again on the USHIP Hub. So thank you for joining. I hope I see you guys on this next video. So, all right guys, bye.